Hi there, very good morning. Bright and early this Thursday, you are watching Newspresso live here on Moneycontrol with me, Stacey Pereira. And as the drill goes, in the next few minutes, we have you covered with all the global stories that are taking place, also insights into India, and of course, the latest trends and a buzz on social media, because we have you all covered. So let's get straight first to what we're getting from our global dispatch. Now, overnight, we did see quite a bit of mixed trade on Wall Street. The S&P 500 and Nasdaq Composite both adding just about 0.02% respectively, whereas the Dow Jones, that one finishing lower by 0.2%. Now, we saw the 10-year US Treasury yield hit a level that it has never seen before in about 15 years in this session, where investors now will go on to watch out for the other economic data that they're seeing, jobless claims, home sales, as well as GDP print, which is due later today. Before turning attention, though, to the latest personal consumption expenditure, that is that price index, which is due on Friday. The PCE, remember, that reading is what the Federal Reserve is really prefers when it looks at the inflation metrics. Though in stock-specific action, we did see Micron Technology slide more than 3% after the bell, after offering quite a bit of weak guidance for the current quarter. Whereas Peloton Interactive, that stock jumped by about 16% following news that the company was entering a 5-year partnership to make content for Lululemon. Now, futures linked to the Wall Street indices are all trading flat at the moment. Let's look at Europe as well, where markets settled on a mixed range there as well. In the previous session, where we saw investors continuing to assess inflation, interest rates, as well as the health of the overall global economy. Now, the Pan-European Stock 600 index was up by just about 0.1% in early trade, and we saw a sector swinging between negatives and positive territory. Telecom stocks were the one that really took it on the chin, down by about 1.5%, leading those losses, whereas oil and gas stocks saw an uptick of about 1%. In the stock-specific action, well, we did see H&M shares, which were up by about 4%, beating their third quarter estimates, however, reporting disappointed September sales. On the other side, we saw Dutch insurance firms, which took a beating, led by NN Group, which fell by about 13% on the back of a really unfavorable court ruling. Now look at Asia, what is happening there currently. We are seeing some initial gains, but we could just settle in for mixed trade there as well, which have now most of the indices coming under pressure after seeing those early gains. That's because we did see those treasury yield as well as oil prices really denting investor sentiment. In Hong Kong, we're seeing the Hang Seng Index slip by about 0.5 percentage point. This after the exchange announced that shares of embattled Chinese real estate firm Evergrande will not be taking place. In fact, trade has been suspended for Evergrande. Now, mainland Chinese stocks, though, are slightly up at this point. We're also seeing Japan's Nikkei 225 slipping by about 0.82%. Australia's S&P ASX 200 has rebounded from yesterday's trade, so that one also trading slightly in the positive. Whereas South Korea, there the markets are closed today due to a public holiday. Here back home, if you look at the GIFT Nifty, that one is implying quite a flat start for the Indian markets. And commodities, that's where all the action is taking place, and really what we're seeing is changes across markets that is really reacting to oil prices, which surged more than 3% overnight. Brent crude inching closer to that $98 per barrel. So we are really staring at $100 per barrel mark anytime soon. Rapidly falling, though, is crude inventories in the United States. This was combined by also the supply cuts that we're seeing from Russia and Saudi Arabia, which is continuing to drive prices higher. Currently, the Brent crude futures are trading around $96.71 per barrel, but this could go up anytime soon. That's because the government data that came off yesterday showed that US crude stocks fell by 2.2 million barrels last week. This is exceeding that 320,000 barrel drop that they were expecting. Now, stockpiles at Cushing's have been falling closer to historic low levels due to that strong refining as well as export demand that we're seeing. So oil is really what is going to be triggering markets across, and that's what we're seeing, that reaction at least coming from overnight 3% increase is what we are seeing in crude oil prices. Well, moving on then to the world of cryptos, where the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, that is Binance, has gone ahead and decided to sell its Russia business to a newly launched exchange called COMEX. Now, Binance is the latest to pull out of Moscow ever since the country began its war against Ukraine. Now, the company said that it will have no ongoing revenue split from the sale, nor will it maintain an option to buy back shares in the business at a later stage. Binance also said that all of the assets of its existing Russian users are safe and that there will be an orderly process for the migration of users. Many companies in the past have also, like the likes of McDonald's, Renault and others, have agreed to either sell their businesses in Russia or their Russian assets or hand them over to local managers in order to comply with the sanctions over the Ukrainian war, or were either forced to shut shop amidst threats from Kremlin, where they have said that foreign-owned assets could really be seized. So a lot of action that we are seeing, many more companies withdrawing out of Moscow, withdrawing out of Russia because of the ongoing war. Let's move on then and look at across the globe where, in today's digital era, we are pretty much dominated by social media, and making connections from distant friends or even international purchases has become quite remarkable and convenient and speedy because of the internet. However, one nation, that is Indonesia, is unable to fully actually embrace the advantages. And we say that because the Ministry of Trade in Indonesia has taken a decision to regulate e-commerce by prohibiting transactions through popular social media platforms, that of the likes of TikTok or Facebook, which has now become more of a marketplace. Now, the rationale behind this move is to support micro and small medium-scale enterprises that have experienced a decline in their sales due to the influx of foreign products facilitated by social media. Moreover, the Indonesian government aims to permit users to utilize social media for promotional purposes, but not for actual transactions. They also intend to restrict these platforms from functioning as e-commerce hubs to prevent potential misuse of public data that is shared through these services. So unfortunately, Indonesians are not going to be able to buy their favorite purchase if they see an ad there on Facebook or TikTok. Now, this has got quite a few people fumed there, but for now, the government are sticking to their stand and banning purchases from social media there. Let's also take you through all the action that we saw on the Lal Street right here in India. Well, markets did stage that smart recovery. We saw in the lows to end in the green in trade finally yesterday. We saw the Nifty and Sensex both ending the day a 0.25 percentage point higher. Bank Nifty, though, was the underperformer compared to the blue chips if you have to look at it, whereas the mid-caps continued their outperformance. Now, the mid-cap index ended close to 1% higher in trade. But if you look at the stocks, it was Reliance that was the top Nifty contributor, lifting the index by about 20 points, whereas IT stocks also led from the front. PSU banks, capital goods, FMCG stocks, all of these were among the top performers, sectoral performers, whereas oil and gas was the one that really buckled under pressure. Though among stocks that you need to be looking out for today, keep an eye out for MCX as it will be in focus, because we told you earlier also that was looking to shift the trading platform, and now they've officially announced that. So MCX is going to be trading on its new platform, which is with a tie-up with TCS from October 3rd onwards. Also, Aurobindo Pharma, because its subsidiary has got an entry, it's got a license agreement with Hellman Laboratories in Singapore. They are going to be manufacturing a children's vaccine, so that will be a plus point for Oro Pharma. And also, we're going to see a big D Street debut. We're going to see Yatra Online list on the brosses today. So that's all you can be looking out for. But other stocks will also be in focus, like that of Z. Now, I'm saying this because yesterday, the Securities Appellate Tribunal, or SAT, has reserved its order from the former Z CEO Puneet Goenka's appeal against the SEBI order that barred him from holding any key managerial positions. Now, the tribunal observed that it was not satisfied with the amount of time that was taken by the market regulator in order to investigate the whole situation. It also went on to question SEBI on whether it would be able to finish this investigation at all against Puneet Goenka. SEBI has said that it will try and complete the investigation latest by the 30th of November. Remember, these developments coincide with the National Companies Law Tribunal, or NCLT, which went on to approve the merger of Zeal as well as Culver Max Entertainment, which was earlier Sony Pictures. With this tribunal noting that this matter involves public interest and which is why it needs to be taken up more soon. For now, the order has been reserved in the courts. And speaking from one court to another, well, we did see the Delhi High Court, which has ruled that the aviation watchdog DGCA has in fact the authority to take action against pilots who are non-compliant of any kind of civil aviation requirements. Now, this decision comes in the light of all that we've seen happen and transpire at Akasa Air. Quite a relief there coming in for the budget airline that has sought action against pilots who left without serving their contractual notice period. The aviation regulator previously informed the Delhi High Court, as well as this case taking place in the Mumbai High Court as well, that it lacks the authority to intervene in the employment agreements between pilots and their airlines, to which now the courts have said and have gone ahead to help that there's no restriction onto DGCA to take any kind of action against the pilots in cases of default. Although this may not apply in a retrospective manner. So whether they can actually go ahead and take action against the pilots is what remains to be seen there. Remember, Akasa Air had moved the high courts after about 40 pilots had abandoned their duties and left without serving their mandatory contractual notice period, causing quite a bit of disruptions of flight, last-minute cancellation and overall inconvenience to the travelling public. The Bombay High Court too has now weighed in on the matter and has allowed Akasa Air to proceed with the suit seeking damages from the pilots who exited the company without serving a notice. And to a lot that's transpiring in the northeastern state of Manipur, where we're seeing thousands of students again come to the streets and protest. Now, this after pictures showed that alleged abduction as well as killing of 2 students that went viral on social media once again. Now, mobile internet services have been snapped and will be so for the next 5 days. Manipur is not going to have internet services. Schools will also remain shut for the whole week. And the state is definitely struggling to control that ethnic violence which had erupted about 5 months ago and is still ongoing. The Manipur government has extended, in fact, the stringent Armed Forces Special Powers Act, or AFSPA, as we know it, to almost the entire state now for the next 6 months, which will be starting from October. This includes mostly the hilly areas of the state, but also goes on to exclude 19 police stations that fall under the Imphal Valley and an area that shares a boundary with the neighboring state of Assam. The pictures that went viral, remember, show bodies of 2 students who went missing back in July. Let's listen in to what the Chief Minister had to say.
लेकिन 1-1.5 महीने से अभी दोनों साइड से फायरिंग वगैरह बंद है, पीस रेस्टोर हो रहा है, अभी शांति आ रहा है। इसी बीच में दुख की बात है कि जो मेरा अपने एक मैथई लड़की और एक लड़का, जो एक तो 17 साल का है लिंथोंगम्बे और एक तो है हेमंतजीत, तो दोनों को मिसिंग हुआ था जुलाई से तारीख में। तो उसी से हम लोग को उसको ट्रेस करने के लिए कोशिश काफ़ी किया। पब्लिक को, मणिपुर प्रजा को ये वाचन देता हूँ कि जो कल्प्रिट है, जो मर्डरर है, उसको हम सजा देंगे ही देंगे।
Well, we'll have to see how that situation really transpires and goes by after that. You know, a lot has happened over the past 5 months. In fact, even a CBI team will be reaching Manipur later today to take stock of all that's happening there. Now, let's take you through what's really making and doing the buzz on social media. Now, we have someone who's known as the queen of Latin pop and who's been facing accusations this time of tax fraud of close to 6.6 million euros. Yes, I'm talking about Shakira, and this accusation comes from the Spanish government. The pop star is facing accusations because she failed to declare millions in advance payments of her 2018 El Dorado World Tour. Now, the prosecution's complaint asserts that during her El Dorado tour, Shakira was a resident of Spain and as such was required to declare and pay taxes on all of her earnings within the country. She has been charged for the second time, though, remember, by the Spanish government. The prosecutors opened the investigation in July of 2023, and she's also accused of defrauding the state in wealth tax. Shakira is an acclaimed Latin American artist with multiple Grammy Awards, could potentially then be fined about 24 million euros and face an 8-year prison sentence for these allegations of evading 14.5 million euros in taxes from 2012 to 2014. So 2 tax cases there coming to haunt Shakira. Well, let's move on then, and coming up next is the world of celebrity endorsements, and Bollywood is always known to be at the front there, making our brands more attractive, we could say, and this time it's Bollywood actress Katrina Kaif who has chosen to go with Uniqlo and become their first brand ambassador in India. Now, taking to Instagram, she shared her excitement about the collaboration and posted a few promotional videos. Katrina has confirmed to a year-long association with this Japanese apparel retailer to promote their 2023 fall-winter campaign. The partnership between Uniqlo and Katrina Kaif is aimed at showcasing the brand's fall-winter 2003 collection. Uniqlo, having made its foray into India back in 2019, presently boasts of about 10 stores across the country, and there are more on the horizon, is what we're being told. The brand is all set to expand its presence in Mumbai too. In addition to her role as Uniqlo's ambassador, Katrina will also hold a position of brand ambassador of Etihad Airways. So there she has 2 endorsements that are coming her way. Katrina Kaif going to be that face for Uniqlo here in India. Now, this is something that has been doing the buzz on social media a lot since yesterday, and especially if you're somebody who lives in Bangalore, then you're really pretty much known to what has really gone down. Now, fans of international comedian Trevor Noah were left disappointed after his show in Bengaluru was cancelled in the last minute due to a technical issue. Now, the technical issue, if you say, could really be Bengaluru's infamous traffic. Now, several fans took to social media complaining that the show, which was expected to start at 7:30, actually began 30 minutes later. And when they did see Trevor there on stage, it was known that he was also 30 minutes late because he was stuck somewhere in traffic. Though now Trevor Noah has taken a 2x to actually go on and express his apologies for causing the inconvenience and disappointment to his fans. He also announced that both the shows that were to take place at that Manipur Convention Center will not be rescheduled, and so they stand cancelled. He went on to say that they will be making sure that the ticket holders will receive a full refund, and that this has never happened before. Fans who were, who actually braved that Bengaluru traffic were left fuming after they got this cancellation notice. They went on to blame the organizers for the mismanagement, but like they say, it's Bengaluru and its infamous traffic. There's no really running away from that. If you had to sit to it, right from the comedian as well as the fans who actually went to see them, all of them being stuck there in that traffic. A lot of them actually were hoping that because Trevor was stuck in traffic, that show would actually be pushed and then go on as per schedule, but no, Trevor decided to not go ahead because there were also some issues with the audio there where people at the back of that center couldn't really hear him out. Though he has other plans scheduled here, there was his concert in Delhi as well, so now fans will just have to wait a little longer, I guess, to watch Trevor Noah here in India once again. Well, let's also tell you a very exciting fact that we have officially an entry from India to the Oscars. The Film Federation of India has gone ahead and announced the official entry, and this time around it has declared a Malayalam film called 2018 Everyone is a Hero as their official nominee. The movie is a cinematic recreation of the catastrophic 2018 Kerala floods, and it narrates the stories of humanity triumphing over the adversity. The lead role is played in the film by Tovino Thomas, who put out a post on Instagram saying that he was thrilled, elevated and excited that he can't wait to hear and the Oscar goes to, fingers crossed. So that's what he put out there on his social media. Now remember, the announcement was extra special for him because he also went on to say that just before this announcement came in, he also received an international recognition for his performance in the very same film. So we'd like to wish Tovino and everyone who made this film really all the best. It is also India's official entry. So after that success, that roaring success we saw last year, the Academy Awards with RRR and others, let's hope that even this movie actually makes the cut. Well, also to what you need to be looking out for today, it is quite a big day, but for us here in Mumbai, it is the final day of the Ganpati Visarjan. So we are going to see a lot of traffic, of course, but also bidding a Bappa farewell. That's what Mumbaikars are going to be up to. But across the globe, later in the evening, we are going to see US's Q2 GDP data. That one, the final print, is expected to come out, and that will pretty much sway the global markets as well. So we will be keeping an eye out for that. Well, with that, it's a wrap, and we hope this dose of Newspresso was got you up to speed with all that's transpiring across the globe and has got you covered on all corners, because that's exactly what we hope to do here. But don't forget to come back here tomorrow, same place, same time, for your fresh shot of Newspresso. From all of us who put this show together, thanks so much for tuning in.